Parents of Reddit, what are your kids currently attempting to hide from you? My 6-year-old is gobsmacked that I know about the rolling around on the floor instead of schoolwork. No idea the teacher can reach me anytime. About the rolling around on the floor, your kid is a yellow lab. My kid would get up in the middle of the night and want a snack. He would sneak into the kitchen and eat a whole tomato except the little circle where it connected to the stem. He hid the little stem circles under whatever was on top of the trash and would go to sleep. We always made sure there were tomatoes for him. Fortunately my teenager, 16, going on 17, doesn't try to hide much from me. She's a terrible liar and gets busted right away every time, so she just casually admits stuff these days. It's pretty great. However, she's been sneaking her boyfriend over to the house during the day while I'm at work and thinks I'm clueless. Girl, I know you eat a lot, but there's no way you're going through half a loaf of bread by yourself in one day. You also left his glass of water on the coffee table. IDK man, I feel like I could eat half a loaf of bread by myself. The Pez dispenser's in his nightstand. He eats them in secret pretty sparingly, so I let it go. He's 6. Edit. He never eats them at bedtime and has a pretty strict teeth brushing schedule, so I'm not overly concerned about cavities. A 6-year-old with self-control and willpower is pretty impressive. My 4-year son is currently trying to hide that he pees his bed. His dad questioned him the other morning asking if he did and he said no. Even though we were holding his wet pants. When we asked whose pants they were, he said mommy's. We asked again if he peed his bed and he said no, mommy did it. Little bastard. Well mommy, why are you pissing on his bed? He has a crush on the babysitter and tries to draw hearts to give to her. He also proposed. He is 6. We went on a trip this summer that involved a plane ride. My son looked at me and said, "Mom, do you think the waitress, flight attendant, is pretty?" I said, "Yes, she is pretty. Why do you think she is pretty?" He giggled and said, "Yes, I think she is pretty. Don't tell though." He's 6. Conversation with daughter. Okay, so while I was changing your sister, did you finish dinner? Yes daddy. All of it? Yes. So if I look in the garbage can, I'm not going to find any of your dinner in there. Silence. My almost 2-year has started telling me crazy stories as if they are real. He recently told me that our dog rides a motorcycle to go play with her friends. I hope you play along with it. Girlfriend's kids, 20 and 17, like to go work on the car together in the detached garage. Late at night. Yeah, pretty sure they're smoking weed. She likes to make them awkward by asking what they're up to. We see the 3-foot bong, you guys. Mine doesn't try to hide anything. He's a 1.5 years old. He just grabs things he isn't supposed to and runs away yelling, "Run run 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 run." Edit. Thank you for the silver, whoever gifted it. And especially thank you to everyone sharing their own toddler stories. I'll be smiling all day thanks to these replies. My 2.5-year-old daughter hides every time she poops. She starts by asking, "Am I wearing a diaper?" Then she loudly announces that she's going to hide over there. If I ask her if she's pooping, she screams at me, "Don't say those words. I'm just hiding." My 6-year-old got out of bed early on Sunday morning to sneak downstairs and steal Monopoly money from the bank in the unfinished game from the night before, which was left out on the table. Edit. When he becomes a teenager and starts acting like his generation invented the internet and everything and that old people are stupid, I'll show him this thread. My kid is 5. She sneaks food under her blanket, wrapped snacks, for later, and is always amazed when I find them. That they are not tired, despite the usual crying and making you feel terrible until they shut their eyes and 30 seconds later asleep. Parenting's a freaking whirlwind of emotions. My 12M son went on a double date. My husband happened to be driving through town and saw the 4 of them together. I asked him and he said they happened to be going to the same place. The mother of the other boy had the scoop and filled me in. I let my son know that he shouldn't lie to me and it is perfectly fine for him to be going on a double date. He apparently paid for the fries. I offered to drive him and the others somewhere if they wanted to go again. My kid Noah, 15, is trying to hide the fact that he's found a girlfriend. He thinks he's really smart by just saying he's going out to get food every now and then, but it's so easy to tell that he's going to see someone. Also, his girlfriend snitched on him. She told us that she liked him. My freaking dishes plates. They sneak food up to their rooms so they can game and digest at the same time but forget to bring the dishes downstairs. When I get in a hissy fit because I have to make my sandwich on a Tupperware lid, they swear they have not used any plate, but when I enter my kitchen later, a wonky tower of china looms in my sink for me to Jenga wash. Arg. Make them wash that crap. Or buy your own plates just for you, and eventually they will have to learn to wash them because they are out of their own plates. My 2-year-old attempts to hide the family dog, who is 75 pounds, in various places in his room so that the dog can sleep in there with him. So far, I've found the dog in the closet, behind the curtains, surrounded by stuffed animals to blend in, and on numerous occasions I've walked in the room to see a giant mound under the comforter at the foot of the bed. My son is astonished every single time that I have not only found the dog, but was even looking for him in the first place. On more than one occasion he even attempted to persuade me that he didn't even know we had a dog. Edit. Wow, thank you so much for the gold and silver kind Reddit strangers. I was not expecting this to get upvoted so many times. Lol, my son is too clever for us sometimes, I admit. I think what's most impressive in his little scheme is that he has the full cooperation of the dog, who I kid you not remains perfectly still in whatever guise my son has planted him in. I've laughed the hardest when I've walked in on him mid-hiding attempt, like one time when I walked in and he was in the process of trying to shove the sweet old boy under his bed, but alas, the dog was too big. When I asked him what was going on, he looked at me matter-of-factly and said, "I dropped George, stuffed animal, back behind the bed but it's dark under there," which I guess was scary to him, so I was seeing if Keeper could get it, and yes, he has absolutely looked me dead in the eye and said, "Whose dog?" "But mama, we don't have a dog, sweet kid." He'll be 3 in October, so I'm guessing he'll only have more in store for us. My 4-year-old wrote a letter she keeps in her bottom drawer. When me and my husband die she will come home and get it. We're not allowed to look at it or touch it, but apparently it says that we gave her loads of money and she gave us loads of pictures. I'm not sure what this says about her or us, but it will be interesting how long she keeps said letter. It's been a month so far. My neighbors across the street have an 18-year-old daughter. Most nights at around 9:30 she has a young man crawl in through her window. I realized this because I'm usually wrapping up our evening dog walk at about that time. I'm not sure, but I've counted at least 5 different young men based on build and race. She's slowly been collecting pens and hiding them in her toys. So far, no coloring outside of paper and coloring books, though. So I'm letting her get away with it. I just found out that my 6-year-old locks the bathroom door so he can get some privacy. Last night I looked across the kitchen to see the door slightly ajar and my son engaging in his private time, doing push-ups. I didn't say anything, just watched him finish his 5 reps, flex in the mirror and then walk out of the bathroom. Edit. Okay, the indoor rock climbing is seriously calling out to me. Thanks for the suggestions, everyone. My son, 7, is hiding that he secretly loves forest school, summer club. Each day I pick him up, he moans that they don't do many activities, that it's terrible, no one wants to play with him and it isn't fun. The photos posted on their social media say otherwise, as well as the occasional slip-ups when telling us stories around the dining table. Edit. He is my son. I treat everything he tells me seriously, whether it is good or bad. As a person who was severely bullied as a child, I like to think that I try to assess every incident and situation regarding him better than my own parents did when I was young. But to clarify, he literally tells me every morning before we go that he wants to play Pokemon or Super Mario, that he doesn't want to get up at 7 AM, and that he has stuff to build on Minecraft. He didn't want to go because he genuinely wants to spend 6 weeks playing video games. Jesus. He is pissed that we aren't taking the Switch to Cornwall on holiday with us. However, he also wants to make friends, so I encourage him to go. I work closely with the club leader and teacher on how he finds each day. They continuously comment on how he really takes to group activities and shows great signs of leadership, etc. Guys, kids can be freaking stupid. They can be really stubborn and sometimes have a lot of pride. Believe it or not, some kids find it difficult to admit they were wrong about something because they really freaking love computer games. Subscribe and like for more content like this.